Liverpool are nearly the best in everything in the Premier League, and in the UEFA Champions League, the situation is nearly the same. They are top of the league on both fronts, and last week, Liverpool thrashed Tottenham 4-0 in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final to secure their place in the final. But you may think a team like Liverpool may not have that much weaknesses, but there is something about them. In the game against Ipswich at Anfield, Liverpool thrashed the Tractor Boys 4-1. However, the match witnessed an important event tactically. Ipswich Town's goal from a corner kick and other chances that came from corners. Before the goal, Arne Slot hadn't conceded any goal from corners in the Premier League. This match may have been the key for upcoming opponents to know how to overcome Liverpool's defensive scheme. In this tactical analysis, we'll discuss the variation of defending tactics between Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool era and the current Liverpool era under Arne Slot, highlighting potential gaps in the current defensive scheme. Let's look at Liverpool's tactics under Jurgen Klopp last season. As seen in the frame here, Liverpool's previous defensive scheme generally consisted of 6 zonal defenders. Those are the defenders you see in green. They had 2 players in the second line, the ones in yellow, and a short option defender, the player in orange, and a rebound defender standing near the edge of the box in pink. It was a good defensive general scheme, but it had weaknesses. Trent Alexander-Arnold was the zonal defender, but they put Van Dijk as the zonal defender before him, giving him the freedom to predict the cross and go and help him. They also depended on Alisson Becker, who is clever at claiming the ball in the air, to go out and claim the ball before it reaches the far post. Notably, the 2 players in yellow have different roles than the traditional man markers. From the beginning, they don't go to mark. They stand waiting for certain runners or runners coming from specific areas depending on the opponent. Thus, they can name them awaiting markers or second line defenders with specific roles. Now let's look at how this is different from Liverpool's tactic under Arne Slot. You see in the frame here, the current scheme is 5 defenders, the players you see in green, without Alexander-Arnold, who became a man marker and then a short option defender in orange. Due to this, they now have 3 man markers, but they use them as nearly traditional man markers starting with the attackers. Note, despite getting rid of Alexander-Arnold as a weakness, having one less zonal defender means that the last zonal defender has a bigger area to defend on the far post. Moreover, they assigned Van Dijk, who was a strong point near the far post, as a zonal defender aligned to the near post. Focusing on the new role of the man markers as traditional man markers, we should know that they still prioritize zonal marking, so the best players are assigned as zonal defenders. Hence, it is a bit easy for a strong attacker to beat his man marker. Moreover, the attacker can make certain moves, making it difficult for the man marker to keep tracking him. So let's see how this actually unfolds. As you see in this frame, the attacker starts with a high point near the penalty spot and will move from the middle to the far post when the taker touches the ball. We see here in this frame that this feint to the far post at this time makes it more difficult for the marker to keep tracking the ball and the attacker simultaneously, which is what we call an orientation problem. In the frame here, the attacker could reach the far post before his marker, but Alisson Becker claims the ball and the last defender, usually Ryan Gravenberch, is ready also. Now Liverpool has a far post weakness. Ipswich Town found a way to target the far post directly and after short corners. Let's see how they managed to do this in the game against Liverpool. We see here in this frame that Liverpool defend with 5 zonal defenders, the ones in green, a short option defender in orange, a rebound defender in pink, and the remaining 3 defenders were man markers. The 3 numbered attackers in the 6-yard box have the blocking roles. The first 2 players block the last zonal defenders, while the third goes to block the goalkeeper to make sure that the ball goes to the area after the last zonal defender, which is Ryan Gravenberch, who is also pushed inside. The 2 targeted players for Ipswich start with 2 man markers. Currently they are not in the shot. As you see in this frame here, they used a curve run from the middle to the far post to make markers suffer from the same orientation problem. The plan works, but the cross wasn't optimal and was near Alisson, who is very difficult to block without a foul. After that, Ipswich go on to score their single goal in the match from a corner. As we see here in this frame, they attack the box with 6 attackers, so they have 3 free attackers. The first one fakes a run to the near post, while the other 2 block the last 2 defenders. We see also in this frame here that they used a little floated cross over the zonal line to make it hard for the goalkeeper and the first zonal defenders to get to the ball. The first runners fake a run to the near post, attracting the attention of the first zonal defenders, especially Virgil van Dijk. Meanwhile, the two targeted players, which are the two players you see in black circles, use the same curved run to make the defenders lose contact with them. The plan works, and that results in the goal as we've seen. You can say that this happened because Liverpool lost some of their good players because of substitutions. Still, you can see a different frame where the same block to the last zonal defender, Ryan Gravenberch, and the same orientation problem to the same marker, Dominic Szoboszlai. As we see here in this frame, the same key steps are followed for the essential players. Still, Manchester United used an outswinging cross that targeted the far area, making it difficult to convert directly into a goal. But we see further proof that the same step works. There's also a problem with sudden short corners. As one more difference, the rebound defender here, Mohamed Salah, starts very deep near the penalty spot. It allows him to cut any direct flat passing lane from the taker to the penalty spot and to stand in the important area to get the second ball, especially since the attacker can drag the markers away. However, this distance from the edge of the box places him very far from the goal. We see here in this frame that this direct grounded pass is played to the rebound player, who moves suddenly to receive the ball, exploiting that Mohamed Salah is too far to react quickly. At the same time, one of the attackers, the one in the black circle, tries to drag his man marker towards the goal to postpone the pushing up of the defensive line. Two runners stand with two man markers, they're not in the shot right now. One will go to the far post while the zonal line goes up, focusing on moving the ball. We see here in this frame that the short option defender Trent Alexander-Arnold is forced to go to the ball and he finds himself against two players. The first two zonal defenders try to reach behind him to help. We see in this frame here the zonal line, the players in green, they become disorganized while the runner moves on the blind side of those defenders. At the same time, some defenders take the attention of the remaining three zonal defenders trying to block them, preventing them from stepping back to free the targeted area. The offside player, circled in white, tries to delay the push-up of the line to make his mate, circled in black, onside and receive a potential pass from him after receiving it. This plan works, but the cross isn't optimal as we see here in this frame. There are other instances of where Liverpool struggled in set pieces. Brentford have also shown a potential idea that can be carried out against Liverpool. We see here in this frame that Brentford have 5 attackers against 3 man markers, which means that they have 2 free attackers. One of them in yellow blocks Virgil van Dijk, while the other guy in blue is the targeted player. He starts on the zonal defender's blind side and runs in a curved path. Brentford have also 3 players on the edge of the box trying to take the attention of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Salah not to cut the passing lane of the cross. This plan works, but the first defender gets to the ball as we see here in this frame. The same routine can be used with a player asked to block the zonal defender or fake a run to take his attention. Tottenham also had a great idea to target the area in front of the near post by an outswinging cross. We see here in this frame that the first player, the player in the black arrow, fakes a run to drag the first zonal defender away while the other player in yellow comes from Virgil van Dijk's blind side to block him and prevent him from going to the targeted area, or at least to try and delay him. The 3 runners stand in 2 forms, 1 against 1, while the targeted player is in the first one in the blue stack. Now, the 2 man markers can't predict who will go to the left or who will go to the right. So when the targeted player moves suddenly, he has little space of separation between him and his marker. This separation, we can see it in this frame. The plan works, but the cross isn't optimal, so the targeted player can't control the ball well. We see here in this analysis that we've discussed a variation of defensive tactics between Jurgen Klopp's era and Arne Slot's era, highlighting the potential gaps in Liverpool's defensive patterns from set pieces. It may be something they go on to fix towards the end of the season, but it's a well-detailed analysis, and huge credit goes to Karim El Shashini, a member of the set piece team at Beltagi Football Analysis Services. He wrote a detailed set-piece breakdown analysis on the Total Football Analysis website, where you can go ahead and find extra details about how Liverpool actually walk around with their set pieces, and a lot more detail about clubs and their tactics and how they actually go about creating systems. You can find a lot of detailed tactical analysis on Total Football Analysis. Check the link in the description for more information. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.